Ever since Brené Brown's famous TED Talk, The Power of Vulnerability, we have understood that vulnerability is not a weakness, but an area of strength. It's a source of connection, it's a source of power, and it's a source of results. Studies show that vulnerable leaders are effective leaders. But vulnerability isn't as simple as you might think. It's not as easy as simply sharing your emotions or something bad that happened to you. Part of my work as an Enneagram facilitator and coach is to teach others how vulnerability looks and feels different for every single different type of person. But especially for speakers and leaders, how do you share vulnerably while still maintaining the context of the space? Unfortunately, too many people see vulnerability as just letting their emotions rip. And as a result, they lose respect and they lose control of their audience. So today, I'm going to give you 3 questions to ask that will support you in sharing your vulnerable story with your audience. The first question is that, is this story for you or for your audience? We all need to work out our emotions in some way, shape, or form. That's why we have friends and family members and therapists and coaches. We can talk through what's happening to us and make sense of ourselves and make sense of the world. However, that's not your job as a leader or a speaker. When leaders and speakers step into vulnerability and simply try to work out what they're thinking and feeling, it creates a captive audience. Audience members can feel stuck because if a leader is sharing something emotional, they might find it rude to walk out. But they also didn't sign up for this. They're not necessarily trained therapists or coaches. And so to hear a leader and a speaker try to work out the emotions of a story in front of them can get really uncomfortable. Number 2, has the story been mostly worked out? There's a lot of discomfort when somebody shares a story in an experience that they are still in. There are many stories that I share from my audiences, both from personal and professional events, that I've already worked through. It doesn't mean that those stories don't bring up old memories and old emotions. It simply means that I've already have the context for that story. I've already have the solution to that story, and I'm sharing that story for my audience, not for me to work out the emotions. I always make it a rule of thumb that a story needs to be 80% complete before you share it from the stage. You might still be working out some of the details, but you get to be in control of the emotions and you get to hold the context and the space for your audience. Otherwise, it becomes a unassisted and unprompted therapy session. And finally, this is one that I'm most passionate about, especially to my colleagues in the professional speaking business. Are you sharing that story simply for shock value? Unfortunately, I've seen many of my colleagues share vulnerable and very emotional, very impactful stories that have nothing to do with their content. This isn't serving the audience, it's serving you. You're using manipulation techniques and ancient rhetorical and persuasion strategies for your benefit, not for the audience's. The ancient rhetoricians had a field day with speakers who were trying to manipulate the audience just from shock value. Yes, a powerful, vulnerable, complex, and dramatic story keeps your audience engaged. But at what cost? Because here's the deal. Audience members are intelligent human beings, and they're going to know when you're using a hook just to hook them into something that they don't want to be in. Vulnerability, above all, is this. It's permission. Too often, speakers and leaders will hold an impenetrable persona, showing that I have it all figured out. I know everything and nothing is going wrong. And as human beings, we inherently know that to be false. That can't occur. That's not reality. So when a leader shares vulnerably, when a speaker shares an experience that deeply impacted them, our audiences is more likely to engage in that content and take action in it. So as you share vulnerably, keep that in mind. Are you the permission for your audience? Are you the example? Are you the model for them to follow? If you are, then you're using vulnerability as your superpower. As always, come off mute, Speak up your story, and don't forget to hit subscribe for all content related to confidence, communication, and storytelling. I'll see you next time.